Oh, look at that. For racing pigeons, this is a disaster. Thank God that's over.
It's 2026. Here in Siberia, it's minus 54 degrees. Despite the chill and my current case of man flu, it'll soon be time to start breeding our 2026 young bird team.
Good morning. Look at this, we're making frisbees. -4 again last night. It's a little bit chilly, -4 degrees Celsius. For those across the pond. Oh yeah. This is our extra large frisbee that we like to produce here in Nottinghamshire. Oh, the mould's not very good on this one. So what I've done is covered the loft, the gap between the aviary and the loft with this plastic perspex stuff, just so the light can still go in, but it just stops the wind a little bit. Can you get in there, or have I made that too narrow? I might have made that too narrow for that one. This is a bit awkward. I might have to do the same on that one. I've left the slit like this so they can get underneath it. This one I've come widthways, which might be interfering with their wings a little bit, so I only did it last night, so I'll have a look and fix in that. Beautiful morning though, isn't it? If a little cold. So these have all been wormed. Some peanuts. And we're almost ready for pairing up. Another week or so. Aim for around Blackpool sort of time. But what I've done differently this time is I've turned the lights on a couple of weeks early. And I think that'll coincides with this cold weather, this cold snap. But my hope is that by turning the lights on, I'm getting them into that egg-laying mood. I suffer from this pigeon fancier's disease, which is constantly looking up at the sky. It's like I've got paramyxa. I'm craning my neck. But what I've also done is turn the lights on from the morning only. And so that they get an artificial sunrise, but they get a natural sunset. Or dusk. And that's because when they are on eggs, and we've still got the lights on, I want the light to be natural and slowly come down so that they can go from the floor where they're feeding or drinking or whatever and get straight back onto the nest. Whereas if the lights just suddenly stop and it's pitch black, you can have problems with the birds finding their way back to the nest and the eggs get cold and die. Which I forgot to do last year. Could have been partly down to why my breeding wasn't so good.
With the cold mornings, it's not just my knees creaking.
Some oil for that door. Jazz, come here a sec. We need some oil for these hinges. Can you fill that full of water, please? Thank you. It's cold outside. There's no kind of atmosphere. All alone. There you go. Look, oh, you are in. Look, there you go. Some water for you. Would you like ice cubes in that for here?
A few weeks later, and we finally got a break in the weather.
The boy pigeon and the girl pigeon kissing under the tree. The big blue bar chased the red check girl singing, lay a little egg for me.
And with the sun shining, I managed to get the wife on camera duty.
Stylish. Right, I haven't done a video in ages, so we've got the birds paired up now. And what I've done is I've I've put them all in there, basically, in the cock section. And we've got 24 cocks, but only 17 hens. So Ian sent me some hens from Wales. They've arrived, and I kept them separate, but now I've put them all in together. And then I've taken 5 cocks out of there and put them in there, the ones that I don't want to breed from. So I've just stuck them all together because I don't have individual breeding sections. I could put them all in their boxes and let them out a pair at a time for half an hour, but well, there's no time to do that at all. So they're literally all in there together, and the established pairs are going together as usual. And then the yearlings, they're sort of like working it out. I don't know, just like, I don't know, a bit promiscuous, maybe. Monogamy isn't their thing yet. And then the rest, the ones I don't want to breed from, and the younger yearlings that I got from Ian are in the young bird section. Next year, that's all going to be hens, that's going to be cocks. I've got nowhere to put the young birds, so I'm going to have to build another loft. Just so you know, new loft. I'm going to take that one down. So the young birds this year are going to be racing to the new loft, which is going to go around the corner. And then I'll move these, I'll break these old birds into it eventually. So we'll probably keep that one maybe, I'm not sure yet. But I want a big loft. Just watch your footing on here because it's dead slippy. When we've been doing the extension, we've been putting all like the rubble and all the materials and stuff, yeah, so it's all over here. We've used it as a bit of a dumping ground. Here is a right good spot. So I reckon, I've measured it, and I could go 42 foot there.
It seems I've successfully convinced my wife that by agreeing to one big loft, it would mean A, this patch of the garden gets some much needed attention, and B, the eyesore of the old bird loft would disappear, allowing her to reclaim that part of the garden.
All right. Scrapey, scrapey, flappy, flappy. I know you're not going to like me doing this, but the floor is a mess and you don't tidy your own rooms.
I'd like to leave the birds in peace whilst paired up, but with so many birds in such a small space, I have to keep on top of loft hygiene.
So I've had several attempts at drawing up this loft, and I think I've come up with the best possible solution. It's going to be quite big. I've got space for 42 feet, but I think I'm going to go for 38 or around that sort of size. There's no guarantee that this is actually what it's going to look like, but this would be my dream loft, I suppose. We're going to go for we're going to go for an apex roof, but because the loft faces north, this is south, so I'll need some light, some clear tiles or roof lights, so that the loft is lit naturally from the back. And I think the layout should be something like this. We'll have a big section for the widow hood, and if it's 8 feet depth, then we can have widow boxes on the back, and then with it being wide, there's probably options for having widow hood boxes on the sides as well. I like this idea, having a bit of a sort of, I've tried to sort of sketch it here. If I can't draw it, I probably can't build it. Like a dormer clock tower thing sticking out the roof where we've got a clock on that. That's going to be the focal point, isn't it? Because I'm always looking at the watch to see when the birds are due back. A little wind vane on the top and a clock on the bottom. They're the two important things you want to know, right? Maybe a barometer somewhere. So it's going to have this corridor that runs the length of the front. Some people don't think that's a good idea, but my loft faces north and it's going to back onto a fence. So it worked better for me. And also, I like the idea of having a corridor for birds that come late to trap into rather than directly into the loft. So I can leave the trap open without risk of the cats getting in and, you know, eating everything in there. So 38 foot by 8 foot, I might end up with building myself like a 12 foot by 6 foot.
And here on Vancouver Island, Canada, the sun is once again AWOL, and all of this rain can be a serious problem when the racing pigeons are breeding.
Don't reckon much to this rain, Rufus. I don't suppose you want to come out with me, do you? No, I didn't think so. Let's have a look. Hi guys. Oh, for f***'s sake, look how wet that is. Look at that. Shit. So this, I scraped this out yesterday. Look. I don't think it's coming from the roof. I think it's coming down there through that joint. Oh, it's coming from that joint. That crack. This loft's fine, this area. It's a little bit by the door here. So this is the problem with this loft. It's one of the reasons I want to get rid of it, really. I built it in a bit of a rush when I started 4 years ago. And it's a really badly built one. It was always meant to be temporary, but I've just kept it going, and with this storm that we've got, it just drives the rain through, and it looks like it's coming down that joint there. The problem with this is cocci, the risk of coccidiosis, I think, and just all sorts of ailments, really. Pigeons in wet conditions is not good, and I've just paired them up. They just started to lay. We got our first egg laid yesterday, so there'll be another one there today. Okay, yeah, so we've got an egg under there. I bet there's an egg under there. These guys are old pairs, so they're 3, 4, 2-year-olds. The yearlings, this year's yearlings, last year's young birds, they're not really paired up properly yet. Some of them have, but they're not ready for laying eggs. So I think there's going to be a week or 2 weeks difference between the birds, which is why I paired them up a week early. For racing pigeons, this is a disaster. It's not what I want. It's not what I need at this time of the year, really.
The problem here can't be understated. To the casual viewer, it's just a wet floor. But this is a critical time. A disease outbreak during breeding season can massively handicap our racing for the year. It's too late to start banging around trying to repair the loft today, so I'll just have to try and manage it as best I can and do a repair at the weekend.
Fuck. So I'm waiting on some quotes for my new loft, and it might end up being that I have to build it myself, which I'll do a much better job than I did last time if I do build it. But I mean, I was looking for a sponsor for my loft, but if that doesn't happen, hopefully I'll get a good price. If that doesn't happen, I'll build one, but I don't think I can do another season in this one. It's not worth repairing. It's so flimsily built, and there's not enough pitch on the roof as well, so you know the water can sometimes back up, especially if the leaves from the neighbour's tree get stuck inside the grooves on the roof there. So and I want a loft with the corridor. I think that's going to be really important, especially for this year, because this year we're going to have more young birds and we're going to have a bit of a better go at it. That's the idea for this year. Try and win some more races.